Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's talk about something every single educator deals with: emotion. You know, those moments when you're just baffled by a student's sudden outburst, or maybe you're dealing with a really anxious parent. Well, today, we're going to build a toolkit for you. Using research from Dr. Sudinzara S.G., we're going to dive into the complex machinery behind our emotions.
So here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with why emotions can feel so, irrational. Then we'll get into what an emotion actually is, walk through the 4 biggest theories that explain them, and then we'll see how our brain has 2 totally different tracks for processing feelings. And finally, we'll look at what's happening in your body when all this is going on.
Okay, so first up, this paradox. We usually see big emotions as messy, right? Just these irrational outbursts that get in the way. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if emotions actually have a really critical job to do? The truth is, they provide the raw energy that motivates us to act, to actually go out and get our needs met.
And this quote from Dr. Sudinzara really gets to the heart of it. Yeah, the extreme reactions are what we notice, but emotion is fundamental to all of our thinking and behavior. Just keeping that one idea in your head is a huge first step to understanding what's really going on with a student or a parent in front of you.
So what exactly is an emotion? It's funny, we use the word all the time, but the definition is pretty specific. It's not just a feeling floating around in your head. Dr. Sudinzara's research shows us it's a much more complex 3-part response to something happening around us.
So here are the 3 parts. Let's make it real. Imagine you're walking home. It's dark and you suddenly hear footsteps behind you. The first thing that happens is physiological arousal. Your heart starts pounding. That's part 1. Part 2 is expressive behavior. You start walking faster. Maybe you clutch your bag a little tighter. And then comes part 3, the conscious experience, the thought and feeling. I am scared. All 3 has to happen.
And this right here leads us to the great chicken or the egg debate in psychology. What's the real sequence of events? Is your heart pounding because you consciously feel scared? Or do you only feel scared because you notice your heart is pounding? Figuring that out is exactly what the major theories of emotion have tried to do for over a century.
So let's look at how these different theories tried to crack the code. Each one gives us a slightly different key to unlock the emotional reactions we see every day in our students and, let's be honest, in their parents too. The earliest theories were basically polar opposites. On one side, you have the James-Lange theory. It says our feelings follow our body's reaction. So you feel sad because you notice you're crying. The physical thing comes first. But then the Cannon-Bard theory came along and said, nope. A racing heart doesn't cause fear. The thing that scared you, the stimulus, triggers both your pounding heart and your feeling of fear at the exact same time, but on separate tracks.
Then, fast forward to the 1960s, and Schachter and Singer proposed their 2-factor theory. And this was a total game changer, because they added a crucial new step. They said, yes, you have the physical arousal, the racing heart, but before you can actually feel an emotion, your brain has to consciously label that physical feeling.
Now, this theory is huge for educators because it explains the spillover effect. Think about this. A student comes into your classroom already physically agitated from a fight they had at lunch. That lingering arousal, that energy, can easily spill over and get mislabeled as, say, intense anger at you for asking them to put their phone away. The emotion spills from one event to the next.
And that led Schachter and Singer to this really elegant conclusion. Arousal spurs emotion, but cognition directs it. It's like your body provides the roar of the engine, but it's your thinking mind that's in the driver's seat, telling that roar whether it's supposed to be excitement or fear or anger. But not everyone was totally sold. The psychologist Robert Zajonc looked at all this and said, hold on a minute, what about our gut feelings? You know, if there's a loud, sudden crash behind you, you will physically jump and feel startled before your brain has a single nanosecond to consciously label it. Some reactions, he argued, are just instant. So how can both be right? How can some emotions need a conscious label while others are instant gut reactions? Well, it turns out our brains are incredibly smart and efficient. They actually use two different pathways to process our emotional world.
Okay, check this out. For more complex feelings, like love or guilt or hatred, our brain takes the scenic high road. A stimulus travels to the thinking part of our brain, the cortex, for some analysis before we actually form the feeling. But for simple, urgent things like fear or disgust, the brain uses a low road shortcut. It completely bypasses the thinking cortex and goes straight to the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, for an instant knee-jerk reaction. And that explains those gut feelings Zajonc was talking about.
So, no matter which path it takes, high road or low road, the brain's decision sets off this powerful, full-body physical response. And it's all managed by one very specific, very important part of your nervous system.
And you can thank your autonomic nervous system. Think of it like this. The sympathetic division is your body's gas pedal. It floors it. It revs you up for a crisis, pumping your heart rate, spiking your blood sugar for energy. This is what's happening before a huge exam or a difficult parent conference. Then, once the crisis is over, the parasympathetic division acts like the brake, calming everything back down.
What's really fascinating is that even though different emotions might feel physically similar, a racing heart could be excitement or fear, brain scans show us they light up completely different areas. Positive feelings, for example, tend to fire up the left frontal lobe. Negative ones show more activity in the right. This gives us actual neurological clues about what's really going on inside someone's head.
Which brings us to the big so what question. As an educator, why does any of this emotional machinery actually matter in your day-to-day life?
It matters because it gives you the power to decode what's really happening. It helps you see that a teenager's sudden outburst might not just be defiance, it might be a low-road gut reaction. Or maybe it's that spillover effect from something that happened an hour ago. It helps you understand that a parent's intense anxiety is probably their sympathetic system just stuck in overdrive. And this really brings us to the most important takeaway from all this research. You're not just a teacher of your subject. You are, in a very real sense, a manager of emotions, both your own and the emotions of the people in your classroom and your school community.
So let's wrap this up. What Dr. Sudhindra's research gives us is this incredibly powerful new lens. It helps you move beyond just reacting to a behavior and instead lets you respond with empathy, with strategy, and with a much deeper understanding of the human being right there in front of you. So the next time you see a strong emotion, don't just see the behavior. Ask yourself, what's the machinery doing under the hood? Which theory might explain this? And which pathway did that feeling take to get here? Thanks for joining us.